Right away that I'm a Jew for Jesus. I want to say that right now. I'm coming out of the closet. I'm stepping out of the closet. I am a Jew for Jesus. I love Jesus. I love Christ's teachings. I love it all. When I was working out at the gym in Hawaii, and when you work out at the gym in Hawaii, you see some big brothers in Hawaii. And there was this one guy who was about 6'7", and he carried a big old fat Bible with him while he was working out. And he had the Old Testament written on one arm and the New Testament on the other. And he still had room left over in his face. You know? He was a big guy. And so when I was lying down doing my little piddly amount away, he came down and looked. And at this particular point, I was wearing a Star of David with a cross hanging in it. I've got a different symbol now. The other one, it just wore out on me. And he looks at me and goes, "Oh, you must be a Messianic Jew, brah!" And I went down, "Whatever you want me to do. Whatever you say, that's what I am." So I'm a Jew for Jesus, a card-carrying Jew for Jesus. But it also makes me a card-carrying lover of Sid Arthur who awoke to his Buddha nature. It also makes me a card-carrying lover of Moses who stood before the burning bush and heard it say, "I am that I am." When you're in love with one, you're in love with all of them. They all come from the same place, our teachers and our guides and our way showers. I got introduced to Jesus Christ consciousness through the Science of Mind Church in 1972. When we first met, started going to church together. I had no guilt, shame, or blame about the Bible from any other tradition. All I knew about Jesus Christ growing up in Great Neck, Long Island was it was an exclamation point. My dad would go, "Jesus Christ, what a beautiful day!" He'd say, "Jesus Christ, kick up that hose, you're not rolling." That's really all I knew from Jesus was an explanation. So when I walked into the Science of Mind Church, I got Jesus introduced to me as my avatar, my way shower, my guide, a master, teacher, who I could follow in the way and the truth and the light and the delight of his teachings for me to have my own awakening. I want to start the Lord's Prayer first with a story. We always like to tell a good story. As Jewish people, we teach them stories. That's what we do. And this one was 1986. We were in San Luis Obispo at our second or third ministry at that particular point. And before we gone to San Luis Obispo, when we were living in the Northwest, we had made the god-awful mistake of buying a Volkswagen van. Everybody remember the Volkswagen van? We bought one and it just it was so orange and so cute and we just loved it and we got it and it was the biggest piece of junk I've ever owned in my life. It was underpowered, it didn't work, and you spent most of your time under it fixing it. Maureen reminded me of a story I didn't tell at the first service. When we took our first journey in it, my wife and 3 children, one of them who was still in diapers, we drove from the Hood Canal in the Northwest to Kansas City, Missouri for the conference. And the car broke down 15 times along the way. We literally had to push it at every gas station we went to. That was that Volkswagen. So you'd think after that we'd learned our lesson. But we didn't. You know the choices you keep making over and over again? So we saw this on the corner, Plastic Creek, Highway 1, San Luis Obispo, the best camping in the world. And there she was, the 1976 Westphalia van. Oh man, it's so sweet, and you pop the little top up, you know what I'm saying? And you got the stoves right there. Oh, 2 beds, one on top, and the swivel seats for the passengers. Then you have your coffee in the morning. We fell into it again. It was already on its 3rd motor, okay? It's like, we can do this. The motors are cheap. Sure, we can do this. Let's get one. You know how you make the choices? You say, let's get one. Oh, I can do it again. Why do we keep doing it again? Because that's what we do here. We do it over and over and over again. It's just us. It's what we do. So I found myself at our first home in San Luis Obispo, on my knees, a big, long, tall ponytail all the way back like this, with the Volkswagen parts all over the lawn, scattered all over the place, in the book called The Big Dummy's Guide to Why Did You Buy This Car Again? and literally in tears about, what am I going to do? I don't know if I can get this back together again. I had all over the yard. And literally, this is not a lie, from across the street, there came a man with his hands outstretched like this, literally, walked across the street. And he said, "Hello, my name is Vince. I'm a master Volkswagen mechanic. Can I help you? Yes. I thought of Jesus Christ, right? Coming right from across the street, your very neighbor, right? With outstretched hands saying, I come not to abolish the law, but to help you fulfill it. Yes. I come not to invent, but not reassemble, but to help you awaken and put all the parts back together again. That's what Jesus does for us. He comes and brings us an awareness of love's presence that puts it all together again. When you look at the Old Testament, you find lots of truth in it. There's lots of truth in the Old Testimony. It is there, but it's scattered all over the place. And it goes off this way, and then it goes off that way. And then you have killings, and then you have God's angry, and then God's happy, and God's up, and God's down. And the people of Israel, and they're getting it one day, and then they're being bammed the next day. But there's truth in the Old Testament. And then Christ comes. Jesus Christ consciousness comes and says, I will help you put it all together. I'll help you take the scattered pieces of your life all over the lawn, and I will help you bring it together again. And he brings us teachings to help us do that. And one of the most powerful ones that I know of is the Lord's Prayer. When understood deeply, it brings us to an awareness of love's presence. It's part of a tool that you and I, for the next 6 weeks, 5 weeks, will use for awakening ourselves to who we are. And how does the prayer start? I've given you a hint. Our Father. Our Father. Our Father. Our Father. Our Father. Inclusive energy. Our Father. One presence, one divine power, an essential essence that we come from. First cause. God is our Father. At that moment when he said that, 99% of what was going on then was about a very secret, separate God. There were little lights that went on through different moments. But basically people believed God was very separate from them, doing it to them. Jesus came and said, nothing's being done to you. Everything is being done through you. And you begin to pray with the acknowledgement at the doorway of the wellspring of love, our Father. Our Father. And Jesus was a revolutionary, an evolutionary revolutionary. He dared to call God Abba. Abba, which means Papa, my Father. Closer to me and you is he, is she, is it than your hands and feet. You are the very love of God expressing, and God loves you. Jesus came to bring us a relationship with divine presence that ended all separation. And didn't he get in trouble for it? Absolutely. But the truth begins with our Father. No matter where you are with your thoughts, your words, your deeds, your habits, the Volkswagens you keep buying, the mistakes you keep making, the dead ends you keep going down, the scattered, shattered life that you live, our Father is where we begin to bring it all back to love. Bring it all back to the essential essence from the very beginning. Our Father. Beloved, one presence and one power. Not that I get to someday, but that I come from. It is my divine, sweet, juicy relationship with the beloved parent, Holy Father, Mother God, within me. And it begins to call upon it in a way that allows it to move forth through us. This prayer discusses the process by which the invisible substance of spirit becomes made known on earth. And the truth is, the process is perfect. It is always at work. Always at work. Our Father, beloved, holy presence, which art, where? In heaven, which art within me. Now, that's a mind blower. God within me. Within me. My Father, which art within me. Within me. The inside creates the outside. The divine process is always true. 99% of us, the Kabbalah says, lives in the world of spirit. Only 1% is having this tiny little dash driving down the road in our Volkswagen, very welcoming to whatever comes to us in the world of separation and form. VW, very welcoming, that's it.